And we are back, as promised, with one of the original friends of the program, AJ Cole. And AJ, I must admit, I need to fall on the sword a little bit because I was going through my copious notes that I take, as you know, and I realized you haven't been in this fantastic pod studio in some time. And there's one person to blame for that, and you're looking at him. So it's good to have you back. How are you?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, I was always told if you point the finger at someone, there's 3 pointing back at you. So we can just drop that act and just understand it was just a misunderstanding.
It was a misunderstanding.
I do believe it was via COVID. Have I been up here?
No, yeah, you've been up here.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. We'll have my.
Pull
I'm gonna have the guys in the back pull the tape.
Right here on the video, there's going to be a video of the last time we did the podcast, and it's either going to show us in the studio, but I'm pretty sure we did it in like the high chairs down in the indoor.
I know for a fact we did it on the high chairs. I know for a fact we've been in Studio A, so the big studio next door.
I could have been in here, but if I was, it was a fever dream.
Oh, well, we're all living a fever dream.
But we're here now.
Exactly. That's what's important. You look great. You look healthy. We'll talk about the important things. Oh, having another career year, blah, 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 blah. But let us begin here with the more important things. The mighty Wolfpack of North Carolina State, AJ Cole. Who do they have this week?
Well, they got the Clemson Tigers, and it's a game that I never won, but it's a game that I played hard multiple times, and it's tough because no matter what, Hunter's always going to have that 4-0 record over me, and that's certainly a shame. But we're looking to right the ship. We've won 2 out of the last 3. Some people call that a streak. I'll let the people decide. But yeah, we've won 2 out of the last 3. We're looking to make it 3 of the last 4.
And I know you were telling me before we can do some shameless plug alerts on our way out of here. You were actually creating some hashtag content surrounding this game, were you not?
Sure was, yep. Mike Glennon, once a Raider, always
Raiders
a Raider.
Raiders legend, Mike Glennon.
He's down in NC State doing a radio show, and so he had me and Hunter Renfro get on there, and we were just chopping it up, talking about the days in college. We were going through because Hunter was a punt returner in college, a little bit in the NFL as well, and I obviously am a punter, so that means I kicked the ball to him. So we went through the record. We went through the record. We kind of broke down some of the plays, and it was good to kind of rehash some of those old memories.
Biggest difference between AJ Cole, the NC State punter, and AJ Cole, the punter for the Las Vegas Raiders?
Hang time, distance, direction, speed, accuracy, power, all of that. AJ Cole, the NC State player, had a lot left to be desired.
Well, sure, but
that's why I had to go to rookie minicamp, Coach. Players with like awesome college tape don't typically go to rookie minicamp.
But it's all part of the story, right? It's all part of the story. It's a better like kind of early chapters to get to where we are now.
100%.
But I did want to talk to you, and I know we talked to our guy Carlson about some of the numbers of it all, because there's so much of what you do that for the fans they look in and it's very black and white, right? Sure. It's this amount of kicks, it's this amount of punts in this portion of the field. You, my friend, are dealing right now, are in the zone. We can go through a variety of metrics, and I won't make you do it, but like, in terms of what's working for you, especially we talk about downing the ball inside the 10, crushing it this year, no pun intended. Like, what's working kind of in that portion of your game?
I think the guys I've played with this year are just doing it at an unbelievable level. And I think being the second year in the system has really helped, just kind of the understanding of where I'm trying to kick the ball, how the coverage is supposed to fit. And I think last year, not that we got off to a slow start, but I think we left a little bit out there, and we weren't quite getting all the juice out of the orange. And I think, just everybody else that I've been around has been so good and so productive, making tackles, making plays, getting down there, forcing fair catches, stopping the ball inside the 10, doing all that stuff. And I always tell them that the plays they make are not just really a play, but it's also giving me confidence in them and confidence in myself. So it actually helps me kick the ball, because I'm not going out there thinking I got to do it all. I'm just trying to put a ball out there that they can cover, and I'm trying to, not do anything more than just be myself. And so they kind of let me have the opportunity to do that. And so I can't say enough about the guys that I've been able to play with.
Do you stay aware, I guess, of kind of what the numbers look like, of what kind of the analytical side of this looks like through the season? Or are you just focused on, hey, see ball, kick ball, like you said, to your point, put your guys in a position to succeed? Like, are you even aware of any kind of the overarching picture of what 2023's look like for you?
I'd prefer not to, and I'd prefer to just focus on the nuts and bolts of the operation and what it's like in the team. But the reality is that you're judged on a measuring stick compared to other players. And the only reason a punting average or a net punt is good or bad is it's compared to the other guys in the league. So, I kind of have to look at the numbers and see where I stack up, and I watch everybody else's film and see what they're doing well, see if there's anything I can steal or replicate or borrow. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you have to be aware of the numbers. It's not like field goal kicking necessarily where it's like 100% is like the end of the yardstick, and it's like how close can you get to 100. But theoretically, there's no limit on like your punt average or net punt. It's just like, the sky's the limit, I guess, in terms of there's no ceiling. And so you're really just compared to the other guys. So if 30 yards per punt was like the best in the league, then if you're punting the ball 31 yards, that's unbelievable. So you really just you kind of have to, unfortunately. I don't like doing it, but you do have to.
Yeah, but I guess like to your point, there's a measure of just being like aware of it for your own, I don't want to say like ranking, but like for your own evaluation of not only not really yourself, but yourself compared to your peers, I guess, if that makes sense. I'm doing kind of a bad job of describing it, but like it does sound like there isn't like an inherent value in understanding kind of what it looks like metrically too.
Yeah, definitely.
So a unique week for my specialists, and as we talked about, you know me, I'm a friend of all specialists and a friend of all backup quarterbacks.
Always have been.
A unique situation for you guys this week, right? You and I aren't here to say whether Daniel's going to play, his health status, all that. For people way more important than you and I. But you have had to kind of work in a new guy this week, right, with James McCourt. You look at now changing a third of that operation. Like, what has that kind of been like for you and Jacob this week?
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. We haven't had another kicker in here for quite some time. Yeah. James came in and he crushed the workout. He had a great practice yesterday. And so, it's sort of like, I'm a one kicker holder. I've only really done it with one guy. So in some ways, I kind of feel like a middle-aged man back in the dating pool. Like I'm trying out some, I'm used to the same moves, same everything. And it's like, you got to try and relearn the wheel a little bit. So yeah, just trying to figure out how he wants the ball, what I can do, what are the things that he wants me to emphasize, focus. But it's been good communication in practice. It's been good getting to know him. I really like his mentality, his demeanor. He's pretty calm. He's confident, and he's, we got a lot of confidence if he's the guy we roll with on Monday night.
We talk about some of the flexibility there and some of the uniqueness of like you said, you've been pretty much a one-kicker guy, but do you think that you're more prepared at this point in your career to kind of have some of these, I don't want to say last-minute changes, but hey, it might look a little different this week as opposed to like you're a young guy trying to figure it out here in the NFL?
Yeah, definitely, especially just because I've kind of established who I am and what I do and what my game day routine is and all that stuff. And a lot of that I really established through the framework of being around Daniel, because Daniel was kind of, he's not much older than me, but he was the guy that had a little bit of experience, and he was successful before I got here. So when I got here, I was basically just like, whatever Daniel does, that's what I'm going to do. Like whatever his routine is, that's going to be my routine. And so I kind of established that like through him, and we do some things different, we do some things the same, but that was kind of the lens through which I learned how to be an NFL player. So now, whether he plays or he doesn't play, if he's not out there, I kind of have my established routine and established stuff, and I can kind of be a guy to help him, versus if it would have been younger in my career, I'm really just trying to help myself at that point. I don't know what the right thing to do is.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? You're more comfortable in kind of what your game day obligations, what it looks like for you to get to A to Z, and hey, now I can help the other guys around me kind of elevate them and make sure our battery, which has been once again really, really solid in 2023, regardless of who's in there, stays really solid in 2023. But we talk about Monday night, back in the prime time, lights are flashing, the whole deal. For you, though, on a very specialist kind of a view, punting indoors again. Must be nice, my friend.
Yeah, I think, all stadiums should have roofs. I really do believe that. I feel that pretty strongly. It's just football.
No, you don't.
Football's an indoor sport.
No, you don't.
Football is an indoor sport. It should be played indoors. It's like basketball or hockey. But yeah, I think that I've never been to Ford Field. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard it's a great venue, great environment, great place to punt a football. So looking forward to it.
Fun fact, Ford Field, one of the 2 stadiums in the NFL I have not been to.
Really?
There's only 2 left, yeah.
What's the other one? Washington, maybe?
No, it's, where is it? It's Carolina. Those are the only 2 I haven't been to.
Oh, because we went there in COVID,
during the COVID year. Yeah. Those are the only 2. I've checked every other thing up.
Carolina's a great stadium.
Is it?
Yeah.
So there's a couple that I kind of like, I don't want to say like I cheat a little bit, but like I've been to games at the Superdome, or what's the one in Atlanta close to you? Is that Superdome?
Mercedes-Benz.
Yes. I've been there for a couple non-NFL games, but I've been there, so I count that as a check.
Yeah, it's kind of like a half check.
Yeah, it's like a half check. But was I physically there? Did I see a sport being played? I sure did.
I get stuck on that because like I've played in Arizona in preseason, but I've never played there in a regular season game. So if someone's like, "Have you played in Arizona?" I'm like, "Kind of."
I think it counts. I think it counts.
Maybe.
How many do you have left on the checklist?
I've got Washington. I've got Baltimore. We've been checking off some good ones this year, like checking off Detroit, Chicago.
You've already done Miami, right?
Yeah, well, preseason, so it's kind of like a maybe. But yeah, Baltimore, Washington, and maybe like one more. Some of those weird NFC teams.
Yeah, you see every 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But pretty much all of them. I think I've hit like 29 or 30.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Getting up there.
That's a good number.
And then plus you got to include Oakland and the soccer stadium the Chargers used to play in. I think I might be in the 30s now.
Let's not forget our trip internationally as well.
No doubt.
So that gives you Tottenham. Were you here for the Mexico year as well?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so we just get Tottenham then.
I think I've practiced on almost 10 fields.
Wow.
I was counting that up the other day because we were down in West Virginia right at the Green Brier. So I was thinking about it like it's like, London Field, we've got Napa, we've got Oakland, we've got Vegas. I've practiced in Allegiant Stadium. I've practiced in London. I've practiced in Sarasota. We're going down to IMG this year.
Shout out Sarasota.
I mean, I'm checking off a lot of fields. If I can practice with the Raiders on 10-plus fields, that's a tenure right there.
That is a tenure. That is a legacy.
Yeah.
Is what that is. Before we let you go, though, just in kind of like a general sense, Mr. Cole, obviously Sunday doesn't go the way that you guys wanted to, but how does a team collectively kind of bounce back from that, right? I mean, we hear all the time, it doesn't matter if you lose by 1, if you win by 1, if you win by 50, lose by 50. The result is the result. So does the group kind of turn the page and say, hey, we have an awesome opportunity Monday night in primetime to kind of right the ship and get back to who we want to be?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, going out and playing a game like that, it hurts. You put so much in the off-season, the summer, the preparation throughout the week. You're feeling really good, and you go out there, and the result's just not what you want. And that's just the reality of the NFL, is one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. Two teams are going to walk in there confident, and one team's going to walk out with their tail between their legs, and that's just the game. And so for that reason, I think that in some ways wins and losses can be a little bit of imposters. Winning can make you feel probably a little bit better than you should, and losing can probably make you feel a little bit worse than you should. So I think the key is whenever you're analyzing a game, it's figure out what went right, what went wrong, what do we need to improve, what do we need to work on. But it's not letting the emotions of the game overtake you, right? And it's not letting that loss against Chicago on Sunday, it's not letting that trickle into, you got to correct the film on Monday, but it's not letting that trickle into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and let that like sadness just kind of hang over you. It's just like, okay, how can I take the information without emotion, and how can I move forward? And so I think everybody's done a great job of doing that. I think we've had a really good week of practice, and that's just the reality of the NFL. You're going to go out there, lay it all out, and that's why we love this sport. It's immediate feedback. It's not something where you go out there and you play years at a time and don't really know how you're doing. You're pretty aware of how you're doing. The results are going to be very apparent to everybody with internet service. And so, that's what we love about this game, but it's also what we hate about this game. So, yeah, I think just taking the information for what we can take it, improve what we can improve, build back that confidence back up, go out there Monday night and just play loose and let it rip.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to see too. We're hoping to see some excitement on all 3 phases of the game come Monday night, and everything's better on primetime. You know that. It was so good to see you. I apologize again from the deepest recesses of my heart, AJ Cole. We will not make you wait this long. How about I'll make you a deal? Actually, no, I don't want to curse it. I don't want to curse it. But I promise you this. We will have you back in the studio again in the calendar year 2023. How about that?
God, I mean, that's quite a promise. We'll see if you can live up to it.
I will.
But Eddie, it's a joy every time I get to sit in this
seat. I'm looking at the camera right now. This man, as we record this on October 27th, will be sitting in that chair again before January 1, 2024. That is a promise. Fenny and Isaiah cut that to make sure that we can keep ourselves honest. But AJ, it was so good to see you. Best of luck on Monday, and we'll see you soon. All right, brother?
Great to see you too, brother.